longest minute of the day. All right, it is 6:30, so please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's nice to see everybody's smiling faces after a couple of years. Nice to have kids back in here. So go ahead with the agenda here. We'll start with Espy Awards. Espy stands for Exceptional Student Performance this year. This award is given to students who are doing well academically and have an exceptionally positive attitude about school. They demonstrate respect and responsibility towards staff and their peers. They show courage by not conforming to peer pressure and refuse to accept anyone who bullies. The school board and the district want to recognize these students by celebrating their success at the beginning of each board meeting. Students will receive a certificate here, and their names will go into a drawing for something at the end of the year. It's been an iPad or something like that in the past. So I'll go ahead and I'll hand these out. And I know we've got some students here, so if you hear me call your name, go ahead and come on up, and I will give you your certificate. So we'll start with Christian Gregory from the high school. Also from the high school, we have Russell Hawley. From Sweet Home Junior High School, we have A.G. Rodriguez. Also from Sweet Home Junior High School, we have Katie Bennington. From Foster Elementary, we have Nikki Russell. Also from Foster Elementary, we have Bella Walls. From Hawthorne Elementary, we have Ava Padua. I'm sorry. From Hawthorne Elementary, we have Paisley Graybill. From Holly Elementary, we have Inslee Hay. From Oak Heights Elementary, we have Arash Hamadanzande. From Oak Heights Elementary, we have Bryce Barber. From Sweet Home Charter School, we have Isabel Davis. And also from Sweet Home Charter School, we have Annie Revine. Thank you, kids, for coming. You've brightened my day. So, we also do recognize this is a school night. If you feel like staying for the meeting, you can. But if you want to get up and get your kids home and all that stuff, we were not going to get offended by that. We would like to get a picture for the paper, though, as well. So, if all the kids want to come up here and bring your awards. And Lisa, you want in a picture with them?
Yes, I like that. Where can we go?
Usually they're just right up here.
Everyone look. Perfect. Thanks.
All right.
All right, we do have a revised agenda in front of us tonight, so make sure we're all on the same page with that. And we will entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
I get Dale moving and Jim Gorley as the second. So I was asked to say those things so that Julie could record. So, all right, any discussion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor? Aye. And any opposed? All right, we will move forward. Do we have any public comments tonight? I haven't seen any written public comments, so.
Came to our office.
Okay, hearing none. We do have a student representative here tonight. So I didn't get your name, but if you'd like to introduce yourself, and or Mr. Tao can introduce you if he'd like. Or... Okay. All right, and then I'll let you, if you have anything you want to say.
I'm here the sports update.
Okay.
So, yeah, so
Okay.
if I do the sports update, I'm just gonna let Chloe talk, with people rather listen to her than me. I have a few things to say, but then I'll let her round out the comments.
Okay, sounds good. Do we have the certified or classified representatives tonight? I'm not sure who's on Zoom and who wouldn't be.
I'm here.
Is Velma?
Yeah,
How are you, Velma?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Good. I'll let you have the floor for a minute.
I just want to say thank you to everybody that showed appreciation for classified people this last week. It was really nice to be appreciated for what we do. As we all know, it's been a long time. This year's went by fast, but felt like it's taken forever, if that makes sense. We came to school last Monday, and there was this wonderful sign out front that said, thanks. What did it say? Thanks, classified? It's a beautiful sign. I can't remember exactly how it was worded, but it was 8 feet long. No, it's 30 feet long. It was huge. And of course it was red and black.
All right, so things going good, huh?
Things are going pretty good. It
Good.
said, thank you, supportive staff. We love you. That's what it said. With balloons and all the fun stuff. Because, of course, I had to take a picture of it. But other than that, I think things are going good. Sometimes classified personnel right now, we have our emergency sub license to help fill in where we can with all the craziness that's still happening. I know when I was at school today, kids were feeling really good that they didn't have to wear masks. And I didn't hear anyone teasing anybody that was still wearing a mask. It seemed to be just a really happy place today.
Good. All right.
All right.
Thank you, Velma. We did have a student show up, so I have his Espy Award here. So I will give this to Sweet Home Junior High School. We have Katie Pennington. Come on. All right, I saw Steve Thorpe walk in too, so. How are you, Steve?
I had practice, and I left a little early. Practices are overrated. So today, Velma touched on a little bit. It was 2019. Absolutely, it was 2019 today. Where we got to have an assembly. We got to see kids maskless, which was great. I know multiple rooms, and I even wrote it on my board. If you want to wear a mask, great. If you don't want to wear a mask, great. You have the choice, you know, and it went very well. We had an assembly today, and it was, and you as a senior, you know, that was kind of cool. It was a good time. And because the last one was December 20th, 2019. And so to come back today and the newness for it for kids was pretty great. And it was funny. Where do we sit? Where do we sit? Well, you're the freshmen. You go by that sign, and you're the sophomores. And because the only group of kids are the juniors and seniors that have ever been in an assembly. So that was really, really good. So I think there was, kids were horrible in the classroom today. That's, and I expected it coming in, and you can't even corral that. So we're okay with that. It was because there was a kind of a newness to it. It was neat getting to see what kids look like. Some of them, I told some of them they probably need to keep a mask on, but I told them my beard got gray overnight. So, but it was good. We're moving on. We started the new term, and we've had a lot of successes moving forward, starting our spring sports now, and ready to do some pretty good things. And but today was the start. Everything as far as what we've gone through. Yeah, I know back in September you were told to take these masks off, but you couldn't. But now that we have the option, I appreciate the board moving forward and following those recommendations, and we're following them at our schools. So, you guys have any questions for me about what's going on at the schools? Okay. Hey, can I?
Your classes will be a little bit better tomorrow.
My classes will be a little bit better tomorrow.
Mike was a great thing.
No, and that's normal. Hey, like I said, I came in late. You asked for public stuff. Can I do that and take off my?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, I wanted to let you guys know that one of my assistant coaches, Tim Boatwright, who was accused of a lot of things back in January 7th, was completely exonerated. He did not assault a boy and steal a hat. He did not discriminate. He did not target. He is not a racist. And all investigations came back, the police report included, that he didn't do anything of what he was accused of doing. Nor did KEZI come up and say, yeah, sorry about that we doctored the video for that. And sorry that, no apologies. But I want you guys to know that Tim Boatwright, 42 years in this district, did not do a single thing, not even not an inch of what he was accused of. And I want our community to guard ourselves and be careful, because what simple accusation that seeks to ruin somebody, some it might, just the accusation, and some it doesn't. But all investigations on that, I knew the outcome 5 minutes after it happened, after I found out about it. It wasn't true, but I know there's a process you got to go through. But Tim coached at the state tournament with us, 32 years of teaching and coaching at Sweet Home, 42 years of coaching total, 10 years as a volunteer. And it was sure great to have him back. And Dan Dan was part of the investigation. So that was pretty darn cool. Yeah, thank you. And if I knew we were bringing trophies, I'd bring a couple of mine here. But I like the blue ones a lot better than the seconds, but we're pretty proud of what we accomplished with our second. We had 4 state champions, and you get 4 state champions, you place 11, you have a freshman win it, you get bookends, one at the lightweights, one at the heavyweights, and still take second. Gee, many Christmas, that sucks. But, all right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Steve. All right, we'll move on to superintendent's report. I'll just hand it over to you, Lisa.
Thank you. Good evening, board. We have a few things to cover tonight, and I'll introduce people as we go over things. First of all, the first thing is, and already mentioned by Velma, but we have celebrated last week with Classified Appreciation Week, and we have a proclamation that we'd like to share tonight to commemorate the last week. So this is the State of Oregon proclamation from the Office of the Governor. Whereas education of our youth is imperative to Oregon and our nation, and whereas classified school employees are vital and component parts of Oregon's public school system, and whereas classified employees work directly with all children, they are the school personnel responsible for the transportation and nutrition of our children, the maintenance of school property, and they are the clerical workers and educational assistants. And whereas under the leadership of the Oregon School Employees Association and AFT Oregon, classified employees with their diverse talents have created the necessary environment essential to educating our youth. An educated Oregon is a healthy Oregon. Now, therefore, I, Kate Brown, Governor of the State of Oregon, hereby proclaim March 2nd through 6th, 2020 to be Classified School Employees Week in Oregon, and encourage all Oregonians to join in this observance. So congratulations to our school district and the wonderful classified employees that we do have. We did have a lot of celebrations. I know that on behalf of the board and the school district, we shared on Friday some things that were created by our students, keychain and some really nice things that said Sweet Home and makes us very proud. But I know that the schools also did a lot of great things. So I wanted to pass that along to you. Also, you'll see in the packet number 2 enrollment. From the 7th of March, we have 2,231 students. You'll see some rising and some falling, and then with the mask mandate opportunities to have masks, we are seeing some students return, and that is a chance that we're working at the elementary, middle, and high school around online options and returning at the appropriate time, so that's nice to see. We also have 2 health updates. I wanted to first welcome our guest. Part of the students' health is their safety, and April is National Child Abuse Prevention Month. With us this evening is Sean Morgan, the Community Service Officer at Sweet Home Police Department, to share how the district can prepare to participate in raising awareness this year. Thanks, Sean.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. So what I'm here to do tonight, I'd really like to invite the school district to participate with us this year. 10 o'clock on April 2nd at the police department. We will have a little presentation, then we'll do a march, and we'll plant a pinwheel garden. The whole goal there is just to raise awareness about child abuse prevention during the month of April. It's obviously a big deal. I don't have anything yet. We'll be getting those together as we get into that presentation. But we recognize during the month of April, we recognize National Child Abuse Prevention Month and the importance of communities working together to help families thrive and prevent child maltreatment. Throughout the year, communities are encouraged to increase awareness of child and family well-being and work together to implement effective strategies that support families and prevent child abuse and neglect. So at this point, we're asking the public, we're asking the school board, we're asking the staff and the schools to display pinwheels. Pinwheels are we'll have them. The Chamber of Commerce will have them. I'll have them down at the police department, and I will deliver them to the schools that want them. I'll be calling you guys soon, and I'll bring them by. And then we'd just like to have everybody put those on, wear blue ribbons, wrap blue ribbons around it, whatever you can find. We want to turn this blue. We're gonna try to get them out in downtown. Maybe if we can get them, maybe all the way to Foster and turn the whole thing. What's that?
And in Foster.
And in Foster. So those are free. They used to be a donation. We will continue to accept donations and give those to child groups, children's groups that kind of like ABC House that protects children from child abuse. And we'll just transfer those on. What I've found a lot is people will just donate money and say, "Yeah, I don't work at Pinwheels." They just wanted to give the money to their programs. So we'll continue to do that, and you can do that at the police department, chamber, or the New Era. And in the last week of this month, we're going to be, so if any volunteers are available and you want to help out, we're going to be actually on Tuesday morning or Tuesday afternoon, somewhere in there. It's kind of not set yet, but if you're interested in helping out, I'd love to have you guys, anyone who's willing to come out and put Pinwheels out through town, it'd be awesome. So then on into the year, after the Child Abuse Awareness Month is over, we are still concerned about child abuse. We still want to fight it. We want to encourage everyone to call if you're suspicious and there's an issue, call. The police officer can sort this out. DHS can sort it out. ABC House can help sort it out. If you suspect something, say something to somebody. So I give you a handout, and you always think, well, what's a sign of child abuse? I always wonder. And this is kind of a list of things to kind of keep an eye on. You can look at the kids. You can even look at the parents. There's items there that kind of show what child abuse when it might be active. Just because you see it doesn't mean it is. DHS investigations happen, police investigations, and there's nothing there, but they move on. Other times they catch it, and bad guys are arrested for it. So please join us. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
Appreciate that. We look forward to turning the schools blue. In our second health update, Colleen Henry, the director, will be covering some of the recent events of today and what to expect when it comes to the COVID updates and health and safety updates. Not everything is as simple as just remove masks and have options. There's a few things and some laws that we need to make sure that people understand. So thank you. And Colleen, would you like to take over your presentation? I think she's in her office.
I am running a Zoom meeting and presenting at the same time. So can you guys see my presentation okay?
Yes, we can.
Oh, good. All right. Well, thank you so much for having me present tonight. I am, as the Director of Instructional Technology, I'm not the normal person to speak on health and safety issues, but I feel confident to speak on the amazing work that our staff does in making sure that our kids are in environments where they're safe and they're healthy every day. And over the last 2 weeks, as our teams have worked at the school level to make sure that we're ready to go for today, this very exciting day, I'm very proud of how hard everyone has been working, including our building administrators, to review our safety protocols. Our business manager is coordinating to make sure all of our contractual language is in compliance as well. So a huge shout out to all of our staff who continue to work so hard as we hopefully, knock on wood, approach the end side of this pandemic. So what I want to walk you through tonight is the presentation that our building administrators have been sharing with our school staff. And just to give you the background, Governor Brown had a joint press conference in February and announced that with declining cases and hospitalizations across the West, Oregon will be adopting new indoor mask policies and moving from mask requirements to recommendations in schools. So February 25th, our district sent out a community survey through Remind and our Facebook page and emailed the survey link to our staff as well to get their feedback on this proposed masking change. And the response was very overwhelming. Almost 88% of the 766 respondents said that they would prefer that the district allow the wearing of face masks to be optional for in-person instruction. And about 85% responded with the second question, which was optional, about the reasons why. They were able to share their reasons why. And the top one was tired of COVID-19 restrictions. And the second highest response was prefer the risk of quarantine to the requirement of wearing a face mask for their children. There's some additional open-ended responses, and that has been provided for you to look at. There's a separate packet that was made for you because there's some really good feedback in there that we wanted to be able to capture and share with the board. So what's changing? What changed today? The first thing, masking is optional for staff and students in the K-12 setting, and that does include school buses, and that's regardless of vaccination status.
The second thing that's changing is we are going to continue to maintain updated seating charts for all bus routes and all classes and adult contact within each cohort. The other thing that's changing is we will notify the cohort when there is a confirmed exposure, but the change is that we are contact tracing. And the last thing we're highlighting is staff and student quarantine for close contact exposure if that staff or student is asymptomatic is also paused. So those are some big changes that our staff has been wrestling with and looking at our health and safety protocols to make sure that we are ready to go. So what's not changing today? We're going to continue to ask our staff and students for daily visual symptom screening. That means if you wake up in the morning and you're not feeling well, don't come to school. We don't want anyone exposed. So that continual safety screening and visual symptom screening for staff and students. The other thing that is not changing, and we received clarity from the Oregon Department of Education on this today, school nurses, school staff, students, and visitors are required to mask in areas of a school where health care is routinely delivered. So in our schools right now, we have health rooms, and they may also serve as isolation spaces if a staff or student is presenting symptoms of COVID-19. So in those locations only, they're still required to wear face masks. We're also not changing the exclusion of symptomatic and or COVID-19 positive staff and students. We are still following the required isolation for a minimum of 5 days, and staff or student can return to school on day 6 if they are fever-free for 24 hours and their symptoms are improving. We're also not changing access to diagnostic testing for staff and students. So we are still requiring that prior to at-school testing, parental consent form and phone notification will be required. And around spring break, we are also being able to offer eye health home tests upon request. And we'll have more information coming out to parents about this testing that they can test at home with a free COVID test. And then finally, the vaccination requirement still remains in effect for K-12 staff, visitors, volunteers, and contractors. So this is an important slide to review with losing one of our layers of mitigation, which is wearing the universal wearing of face coverings. It's really important that we as a staff make sure that we are strengthening the other layers that we have in place. And we reviewed with staff the primary COVID-19 symptoms, and this is part of the screening process. And then at the end of last week, Oregon Department of Education also published this handy flow chart that talks about how to know when a student is okay to stay at school and when they should go home for isolation. We also reviewed the Ready School Safe Learners, the Russell updates. So these are the recommendations from Russell. Retrain staff to ensure that health and safety protocols are reviewed and strengthened. Like I said, our staff have been doing a really great job holding emergency stand-up meetings to make sure everyone gets this information and everyone has a chance to interface about what these changes mean. Continue immediate notification to parents and families about COVID-19 exposure within the classroom or across multiple cohorts. A reminder that if your child has COVID-19 symptoms, do not send them to school. Instead, seek a COVID-19 test, and then we have many resources that we can offer families to be able to access those services, including a COVID-19 case support hotline. And then finally, provide a safe and respectful environment for students and staff who choose to continue to wear a mask. And these are the things that we are still working on. This list has shortened. I'm really proud of the work that we have been doing across the district. We are still working on clarification about the rule around having in-person IEP and 504 meetings. And we would be really grateful to be able to have in-person spring conferences, but we're waiting to get clarification on some different rules regarding that. And that has nothing to do with face masks. It's about the vaccination rule that's still in place. So on Monday, March 14th, Sweet Home School District is face mask friendly for students and staff. And that's it. Are there any questions I can answer?
This is Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
I have a question. How are you all? I'm wondering if the COVID-19 vaccination rule is just something our district is following, or if that's a recommendation of ODE.
That is a good question. It is still a statewide mandate. So the ODE has provided districts with information that the governor is looking to lift the emergency order on April 1st. However, the OAR around staff vaccination is a separate rule, separate law, statewide, and it is still in effect even after the April 1st deadline.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right.
Any other
Thank
questions?
you so much.
Thank you, Colleen. And now we have the sports update. I know that Athletic Director Dan Taus said that he will pass the mic on to Chloe. So thank you, Chloe, for also being here. But I think there are some updates. I always say this is one of the best times to hear about our athletics and our students and their successes. And so please share with us.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I'll start and I'll tell you a few things, and then when we get to the swimming part, I'll let Chloe tell you. You'll rather hear from her than me anyway. But winter sports, like, first of all, like you said, happy to see everybody's faces. Winter sports were great. There were things about it that weren't easy because it was indoors. It was a little stressful at the start. The mask thing was hard, and we could talk about that forever. But we got through it, and it went fairly well. So we had a total of almost 150 kids out for winter sports, which is a pretty good turnout for a school our size. We had 3 basketball teams for the boys, 2 for the girls. We always have a big number of wrestlers. We had about 50 wrestlers this year. About 10 to 12 of those were young ladies. And Steve told you a little bit about wrestling. I'll highlight some of that in a minute too. But about 50 wrestlers. I think we had 16 girl swimmers, 8 guys, 23 girls in cheer. So again, almost 150 kids, pretty good turnout. When I compare our school to other schools that we compete against, we always have as many or more teams than most of the schools that we play. So that's a great, I think a great thing. Highlight wise, Steve told you a little bit about wrestling, and our wrestling program is always outstanding. It's like he said, they were second in the state, and we're one of the only schools that probably is really bummed when they get second in the state. But they were amazing this year. They scored, I think, 240 or 50 points at state, which most years will win by a landslide. But LeGrand was just a little bit better than us. So, yeah, 4 state champs on the boys' side, 1 state champ on the girls' side. They had a great year as always. One thing I'll mention too, since Steve's gone. Don't tell him I said this, but we always have, this is true in every sport, but we have kids that struggle with grades, and he really doesn't. We had a lot of kids this year that got through because he just does a really good job making kids work and keeping their grades up. And so don't tell him I said that, but it's true. He had there in his room that there were kids whose grades would have been really lousy. And that's obviously why we're here. I mean, wrestling's great, basketball's great, swimming's great, but we want them to graduate. And there were kids that he dragged through the semester and kept eligible because they needed the help. So anyway, great wrestling season like we usually have. Girls basketball had a great year this year, exciting. Our girls program, I've been here a long time, our girls program has struggled for a lot of years. First time they made it to postseason play, we think, in 30 plus years. Mary Hutchins swears they went in 96, 97 when she was here. I don't think she's right, but Mary's got a better memory than me. But anyway, long time since they've been to postseason play. I was going to have Brooke Burke come and talk to you about their season, but she's got a late softball practice, so she couldn't make it. But that was exciting. A lot of exciting games for them. Our forestry team is dominant, as always. They went to 2 competitions during the last couple of months, 1 in Tillamook, 1 in Napa. First place in both. No problem there. Our cheer team, Amber Rosa does a great job with cheer, has a lot of girls. A lot of you have probably seen some of the little girls. I mean, she has quite a group of people from the high school crew all the way down. At the OSA state championship, they took second. Our high school girls did. At the OCCA, which I'm told in the cheer world is the bigger of the two competitions. Our high school team was first, and they were named grand champion. So that means that of the 5A and 6A and all those other schools, we were first in our classification, but we were also grand champion. Our JV team was fifth. Our juniors, which is junior high girls, were first and grand champion. And our youth girls, the cutest little ones, they were first as well. So I can't tell you, I wish I had the number, but Amber just does a great job, and she has a bunch of gals below her that do a great job, and there's a pile of them, a pile of those kids, and so that's really neat to see. And then another really big highlight was swimming, and I'll let Chloe talk about that.
Yeah, so I'll start with the boys team. Our boys team had a winning season for the first time in I think 4 years. So, and then they got second place at districts. They ended up getting second place, and then sent, I think, 5 boys to state, ended up getting 6th place in one of their relays. And then we had freshman RJ Abbott placed, I think, 3rd in both of his events. So that was good for them. And I think they got 11th out of 12 teams at state. And then our girls team went undefeated all season with districts and state champions. And then we had a lot of girls placed at state. We had freshman Kirsten Sawtell got 2nd in the 200 freestyle and 3rd in the 100 breast. We had Malia Hewitt got 1st in the 200 IM and 1st in the 100 breast. Jamie Seward got 1st in the 50 freestyle and 3rd in the 100 back. And then I got 1st in the 100 free, 1st in the 100 back. I set a state record in the 100 back, which was cool. That was my goal. And then obviously we ended up getting 1st. We got 1st in the 200 medley relay, which was a good start to the meet. 1st in the 200 freestyle relay, and then 2nd in the 400 freestyle relay. And then I also ended up getting athlete of the meet, which was another thing. And then all 6 of our state team girls had 4.0 GPAs.
Oh,
Yeah.
And she didn't have that note.
No, that's right. Yeah, I've had her
I
in
know,
class.
she knew it all. That's great.
There's a lot to keep track of for me.
Oh, yeah.
You know that? Chloe had a great year, and she's modest, but I appreciate her coming. Good job. Just a couple more quick things that I want to mention. I forgot when I was talking about the girls basketball. Michelle Knight did get the honor of Coach of the Year, which was cool. It was a co-award with the coach from Paloma, and they won our league, and they were state champions the other night. So it almost always goes to the team that wins the league. But so for a coach on the team who we finished 3rd or 4th. That's a pretty cool honor. Last thing, I was talking just a couple days ago to a gentleman who they play some soccer games out on our field out here. It's kind of a club team, and I just thought you'd appreciate this as a board. But he told me they played a game out there on Saturday. I wanted to know if they could use the field, and it was available. And so he said, "I just want you to know that," he goes, "during COVID, he goes, we couldn't play very many places because of all of the restrictions." He goes, Sweet Home and one other field were places that we could play. And he said, since COVID started and the restrictions, he said over 2,000 kids played soccer out on your fields, just because it was one of the only places we could come and play. And so he said, I don't know what the other field was, but he said, we just love your facility. The turf is beautiful and awesome. And he said there were only 2 places we could go for like a year and a half. And he said a ton of kids, little kids, middle-sized, all the way up, played soccer out on those fields. And so I thought that was pretty cool. I thought you guys would appreciate knowing that. Lastly, spring sports started tonight. Of course, that's why it's pouring down rain. We had to cancel softball today. We did play a baseball game for 4 innings out there, but things look pretty good. We have, for the first time in a long time, we have 3 softball teams. Almost nobody has 3 softball teams. So I'm scrambling around finding schools that we can play. But it's a good problem to have. We're playing JV teams from other schools. But we have 3 softball teams. We have 3 baseball teams. We have a decent number of golfers. That's usually a small number of kids, and it's small again this year too. But we have boys and girls golf teams. And we have between 50 and 60 kids out for track, which is a very good turnout, bigger than we've had in recent years. And so it's probably no big surprise. Parents are happy to have their kids out for sports and, doing things, and we have good turnouts here. Like I said, I don't know of another school our size, or even some of the 5 and 6A schools that have 3 baseball and 3 softball teams. And so I think it's good for our kids, and hopefully we have a good spring, and we're excited to be outside and have our masks off, and hopefully we get some sunshine. Pray for sunshine. Any questions for me or the other Dr. Cole?
I'd also like to add for basketball, we had some all-league awards. We had Nathan Aker and Russell Hawley for the boys got honorable mention all-league. Kaylin Mamak, our freshman stud, got all-league honorable mention also. And then we had Adara Slutel got second team all-league, and Brooklyn Burke got first team all-league.
Great.
Next time we have one of these, it's just going to be her doing the whole day.
Okay.
Good job.
Thanks so much.
Thanks.
All right, thank you. Okay, next we have the consent agenda. So on there, it's short tonight, approve the minutes from the February 14, 2022 meeting, and accept the retirement from John Mithen, PE teacher at Oak Heights Elementary, effective 6/30 of 2022.
So moved.
Good job.
Okay, so we had Jim make the motion and Dale seconded. Any discussion on either of those items? All right, hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? All right, motion passes. Next, we have a budget update and ESSER report. Kevin, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, thanks, Jason. Item 7A in the board packet. General fund spending through the end of February, we are up just over $843,000 compared to the same time period for the year before. The most significant increases include labor costs, substitutes, benefit costs, and also supplies and materials, and that includes bus fuel. Just a quick story on that. Last time my wife filled up, she sent me a picture of the fuel tank where I think for her vehicle it was just over $70. I didn't send this back to her, but I was tempted to send the last invoice for the district for when we had a fuel delivery when it was just over $60,000. So kind of some sticker shock there, but it's to be expected with what we're seeing at the pump. And I expect more 60,000 or higher invoices to come. We still, with it being March, we're still looking at probably one every month, so.
All right.
Okay, and then next page, federal elementary and secondary school emergency relief fund, which is ESSER spending. We have spent down all of our ESSER 1 funds, and we're right now spending ESSER 2 and just beginning ESSER 3, and you can kind of see the items there that we have spent those funds on. We still have some time, but this report just allows you to see where those dollars are going.
All right, any questions for Kevin? Thank you, Kevin. Next, we have a facility report. Josh, how are you?
There we go. So I can run it and be in it. So I'm just going to quickly, first I was going to get a video of the high school remodel that I shared with you guys we were working on, and the bus loop at Foster, but I'll video that and show you guys next time around. They both are turning out really good. The Foster one, we're finishing up a gate there, and then the buses are going to be looping through there. But we ended up having to pour concrete entrances on each end of that. We didn't plan on that originally, but that's just part of the permit process. So it turned out really good. And I'll get a video of buses going through and show you guys next time around. The high school, or the facility, long-range facility for the district, we had several meetings. They've gone good, and I was just going to share with you guys. So we polled the people that are involved in that whole process on kind of key needs of what they see the district needing to address. And out of all of them, they all scored up there. I think there was one that was just under the center mark. And so that's what we're just going to go through. These slides were from that one we shared what they voted on. So this is the only one that was just under that that 3, allowing space for pre-K, and then replacing high school stage rigging system, update stage technology stuff in the auditorium that still needs done. So we're gonna, as we go through these, this is kind of, you can see the needle going to the right there. These are in order of what they've ranked going up through. Provide more space for the high school fitness center, upgrade the softball field, add space allowing elementary schools to have music classrooms, continue asbestos abatement work throughout the district, renovate the swimming pool. And this one scored where it did, but it ended up being actually a quite in-depth conversation. So I think people felt pretty passionate about it, even though it scored there. Improve bus and vehicle flow at all the schools, upgrade high school career tech education classrooms, upgrade classroom lighting and technology at the high school, Hawthorne, Hawley, Oak Heights, similar to what junior high Foster classrooms are equipped with. Seismically retrofit high school activity gym, replace high school classrooms that are nearing the end of their lifespan, add or reconfigure space at Hawthorne and Oak Heights. So gyms are no longer used as cafeterias. They're the two that are still common. That same space is used for both. And so coming up with a way to not have that tear up and tear down and set up all the time. Update seismically retrofit Oak Heights Elementary School. The only one left, Todd.
He's on the committee.
He is on the committee. He voted several times to get it up there. Improve security by eliminating separate entrances, improving surveillance, and installing security vestibules where needed. And so that's still our high one we pulled back in 17 when we were working on the bond stuff, and that was the one that everybody said was important then, was the safety, and it still is. And so we're looking ways. The high school is the big one to be able to make it safe and the way it's designed, and so to improve the buildings are at the lifespan there and then design. So our next steps of going around and getting ideas from other schools that have done work recently, so we can see in person what the learning environments are like now. So that's where we're headed with the long-range plan. Any questions for me on that? Or anything facilities? Nothing? All right, thank you.
Thanks, Josh. All right, next we got a whole big long list that's at least a page and a half long of board policies. So this is a first reading for these ones here. A lot of these are just deletions, correct?
Correct. These are, as you're aware, we're doing a large review. It'll take about 18 months. We've gone through the A, Bs, and Cs, so we're bringing them to you. Many of them are deleted and no longer needed, and you'll see through that larger packet. And then some are updated. In fact, you'll look at this, for example, the AACB, every student belongs, it's on both because they're updating it from the last time. So some are repeats, some are from 1978 or 89, and it's just time to get our eyes on them again.
Okay, we've received them.
Just so everybody realizes that this is not a paper copy of these. They're all sent to you in an email.
Yeah, they're sent to you
It's
electronically.
just so large, so.
Yeah. So please look for those sent electronically. And we'll do what we can to try to minimize the number of packets that we get. So. All right, and then next we have the board policies. We're on a second reading with this list of them here. So we can entertain a motion to move them to an action item or we can let them go to a third reading if we need to on that. So
With the OFLA and pulled out. So you want the motion with the OFLA pulled out? Is it struck?
by looking at the same one.
Right here.
Oh,
I think it's combined. It's it and FMLA, I think.
Okay.
It's the same.
I saw FMLA, and I saw some reference to OFLA, but I didn't see.
It's the same AR, at least that's what's listed on it, the same AR, and reading through it reference both in
Because there are some differences in the two.
yeah, it reference both in AR and AR.
Mr. Chairman, I move we moving forward to an action item.
okay.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to move this list of policies to action items.
I have some queries on one of them.
Okay. We can discuss the motion at this point,
Yeah,
but
there's
we
actually a
gotta,
motion on the floor.
yeah, we've got to wait on the queries for that. So we had Mike make the motion, Jim seconded, so that Julie can keep track there. All right, any discussion on the motion?
I just had a question on one of the policies.
We-
as it stated, but
We can get there when we get to the,
okay.
looking at the policies, so. All right. So hearing none, all in favor of moving the list of policies forward to an action item?
Aye.
And any opposed? Okay, motion passes. So we will add 8A, board policies, second reading. And we're there. So did you want to?
My only question was about the ECD, every student belongs, it stands required. My question was about the wording of the symbol of hate, what it means. The AR refers back, the policy only states two means, symbols of hate, but yet the word, or the AR says that the term of bias, incident, and symbols of hate are defined in the policy. So if it's only defining two, I kind of find that questionable. For one, defining one of the definitions of hate is the battle flag of Confederacy, which that is actually protected under the Constitution. So unless something is stated in the ORS pertaining to that, I would just say refer back to ORS for the terms of what symbol of hate means.
What did our attorney say on this?
I just heard discussion now, and so if you would like me to go back to OSBA's attorneys that discuss the policies and find out why there would just be two listed, what their plan is, because even there's an asterisk on it, and it goes down and talks about nooses at the lower, which was a symbol of hate that isn't in the actual writing but is below. So then it actually has three, Are there others? What does the law say? And then what do we do with an AR that says it's in the policy and then is really not outlined in the policy? Those are questions we could ask.
I don't agree that battle flag, the Confederacy is a hate symbol, so I wouldn't vote for that.
I think it depends on what the terms say.
Because I know my brother-in-law teaches history, and he uses that, and it's not in the state of Oregon, but he uses that when he's teaching Civil War history. So there has to be some qualification, I would think, than just a blanket statement on that. Which might be good to hear what the attorney.
Sure. So although the first reading has passed and that is actually in here as it belongs, we're going to look at ACB on the second reading, go into that, look at that AR as well, and get the information that you guys just asked for. Is that okay?
Yeah, I think that would be good.
Yeah, because in teaching history, I think there needs to be some.
Are there any questions about any of the other policies?
No, that was
On that base, Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve all the other policies that move forward, and we'll save ACB and ACB-AR till next time.
second.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve the small list of policies here that were on the second reading.
Right.
So policy DH, policy EEA, AR, policy GBA, AR, policy GBL, policy GBLA, policy GCBDA, and the associated AR, policy IGBAF, AR, and IBGAG, AR, and IGBB. Correct? Those are the ones we're looking at? Okay, so motion by Mike, seconded by Dale. Any discussion on the list of policies we're looking at tonight? And this is a second reading, so this needs to be a unanimous decision at this point to move forward. So, all right, hearing no discussion, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? All right. We got that bunch out of the way. And yeah, we'll wait for the legal opinion on the other one there, so. All right, do we have any board comments this evening?
It's nice to see faces.
I feel bad for those kindergartners that this is the first that they've been out of that thing. My granddaughter, I'm sure she's doing fine. She's just a ball of fire, but you know, it's that age. This is what's normal for them, or was what was normal for them. So, all right, any other board comments? Okay, so we will recess this meeting at 7:28 and go into executive session under ORS 192-6602A to talk about contract personnel renewal recommendations. So we'll meet back here in executive session in about 5 minutes.